Africa launches single air market. Africa is finally taking a big step towards freeing their skies for air travel nearly 3 decades after it was first proposed. 23 African countries have signed on to the Single African Air Transport Market Initiative, launched by the African Union on January 28th. Africans make up 17% of the world population, but only 2 to 4% of global air travelers. Flights within the continent are often inconvenient and time-consuming. But with the single air market, more direct routes are expected to open up between African countries with lower ticket prices. The increased service will result in more jobs, and a boost in intra-African trade and tourism could generate millions in additional spending. The aviation initiative is part of the Agenda 2063 project, which aims for a unified Africa. It has successfully pushed for relaxed visa rules for citizens in several countries and is now working to launch an African Union passport for all Africans by 2020. What's going down in Africa?
Scientists confirm world's first pair of identical twin puppies. Identical twins are a pretty rare occurrence in humans, but if you think that's rare, consider that the world has never knowingly seen a set of identical puppies born, until now. A veterinarian in South Africa made the discovery as he was performing a C-section on an Irish wolfhound. The pregnant pooch was giving birth to a litter of 7, but unlike most canine pregnancies, this one produced an unprecedented irregularity. While there were 7 puppies, there were only 6 placentas. 2 of the dogs were sharing one. Inside, each of the 2 little guys had an umbilical cord hooked up to their shared placenta for them to receive nourishment from their mother. When the vet looked at both male puppies once born, it appeared they were indeed identical twins. Tests in their early stages confirmed as such, which provided the green light needed for the scientific community to declare the pups, Cullen and Romulus, the first monozygotic twins the world has ever been able to confirm, as published in the journal Reproduction in Domestic Animals on August 22nd. Now, the genetic occurrence of twinning extends to at least 3 species on Earth that we know of: dogs, humans, and the 9-banded armadillo.
Chinese-built electric railway between Ethiopia and Djibouti starts operations. The Chinese-built Ethiopia-Djibouti Railway officially opened last week, marking the latest instance of Sino-African cooperation. The 750-kilometer railway links the Red Sea port of Djibouti to Ethiopia's capital of Addis Ababa. It is Africa's first electric railway. The trains are powered by overhead wires. The train can travel at a top speed of 120 kilometers per hour, which is much slower than other high-speed trains around the world. The railway is expected to reduce the drive time of 7 days between the 2 places to just 10 hours. China has already invested more than $20.6 billion in Ethiopia since 2005, mostly in low-interest loans to build infrastructure. Solar-powered computer can provide water, energy, and internet. The developers of a 15-ton solar-powered computer hope it can change the lives of millions in developing countries. The Spanish and Italian creators of the Awww machine aim to provide clean water, electricity, and connectivity. Trials have already taken place in sub-Saharan Africa, where millions live without electricity and clean water. A prototype Awww machine has been tested in rural Ghana, and developers plan more trials in Nigeria and Sudan. The final design of the solar-powered 40-meter-high, 15-ton Awww machine will be presented in July. Photovoltaic panels power an internal battery, which provides energy for a graphene-based water treatment system. The developers say the system can supply 5,000 liters of safe drinking water per day. The Awww machine can provide wireless internet connectivity within a radius of 800 meters. Electricity created by the battery can also be used to charge electronic devices. The number of people living without electricity in sub-Saharan Africa stands at around 625 million. More than 300 million sub-Saharan Africans also lack access to clean drinking water. Awww's creators say the machine will have a lifespan of 15 years. They hope it can have a huge social and economic impact, especially in Africa, by bringing clean water and energy to millions of the world's poorest people.
Researchers discovered giant helium reserve in Africa. Researchers uncovered a helium gas field in the Tanzanian East African Rift Valley, which they say could address the increasingly critical shortage of the element. Helium is widely known as the element that is lighter than air, and commonly used to fill party balloons. But helium has other important uses, notably in MRI scanners. MRI scanners use powerful magnetic fields to map the human body. The superconducting magnets need to be kept at freezing temperatures, which are achieved with the use of liquid helium. The same concept is used in the Large Hadron Collider to accelerate particles to near the speed of light. The United States produces most of the world's helium as a byproduct of drilling for oil and gas, but US reserves of helium are running low and little effort has been made to develop new sources. Now, researchers from Oxford and Durham universities have found a massive source of helium underground in the East African Rift Valley, a highly volcanically active area in Africa. Their research shows that within the East African Rift Valley, volcanic activity has provided an intense heat that's necessary to release helium from ancient rocks. Independent experts have calculated a probable resource of 54 billion cubic feet in just one part of the Rift Valley. That's enough to supply more than 1.2 million medical MRI scanners, and more than double the amount of helium held by the United States Federal Helium Reserve. However, if the helium reserves are too close in proximity to a volcano, they run the risk of being contaminated by carbon dioxide. Researchers are now looking to find locations where helium is not contaminated, somewhere between the ancient crust and modern volcanoes. This area is what they call the Goldilocks zone, where the balance between helium release and volcanic dilution is just right.